Guys, I'm going to talk about the continuum of a unified theory of diseases. Now, this is a paper published by George Vithulkas in a medical journal, I guess. And it's kind of written in a medical style, and its purpose is basically to try to steer medical thinking towards accepting some principles of homeopathy. And some of us homeopaths feel that that is necessary, but this is also a good way to explain to people some homeopathic principles in a more understandable way. So let's read this, and I'm going to be commenting on it. What is the continuum of the diseases? Well, let's read the summary. And the question is, why do we get ill? The question is very interesting, but has no easy answer. This paper discusses a few possible answers to this difficult question. Basically, the idea is that the suppression of diseases through excess or chemical drugs or other means many times overwhelms the body's natural defenses and forces the immune system to compromise and start a deeper line of defense, which then constitutes the beginning of a new chronic condition. Thus, the original inflammation of an acute condition may continue as a subacute inflammatory process on a deeper level. What does that mean? That means that there is an inflammation when you have influenza or bronchitis or tonsillitis or whatever, which you're taking away with the antibiotics or Tylenol or whatever, and the body is structured hierarchically, which means there are more surface level and there are deeper layers more necessary for the survival of the organism. And if you remove inflammation on a peripheral area, the body will accept inflammation into deeper levels. And doesn't just mean it's going to go deeper, so the tonsillitis might go into pneumonia, but it also means that the inflammation, the acute inflammation, might be transmuted into chronic inflammation. So you might get asthma after you have suppressed your tonsillitis. Acute inflammatory conditions must therefore be treated very carefully from their beginnings in childhood in order not to force the immune system to compromise. It is also suggested here that all chronic degenerative conditions have a subacute inflammatory character, and that inflammation constitutes the main common parameter of all diseases. All right, that sounds very interesting. So, in acute conditions, following aggressive interference through strong chemical substances, the body will descend in its overall health condition by giving up its defense on a peripheral level and proceeding to defend the body on a deeper level. So, yeah, this is what I was talking about. Therefore, the hypothesis we can draw is that the immune system, whose main purpose is to maintain life at all costs, is structured in a way as to respond and react on different levels in different ways. So this article goes on for a very long time, and it's very complicated, but I think you get the idea. And I've highlighted some of the more interesting parts. There's also a very interesting observation that many chronic diseases have exacerbations and remissions. Let us take, for example, a person who is suffering from epilepsy. In the crisis stage, he has an epileptic seizure, but when he does not have the crisis, what changes occur in his body and what changes occur in order for an epileptic seizure to take place? The same question is valid with multiple sclerosis, bronchial asthma, blah, blah, blah. Yes, so basically, This also shows a pattern which is shown by acute diseases, that the body goes through crises of regeneration, of healing. It tries to push symptoms out, manifest symptoms to regain balance. And even if you have suppressed your immune system with chemical drugs and you're already in a chronic degenerative stage, the body is still tries to go through the same crises as the chronic conditions exacerbate. So it's basically the same pattern. What else do we have? Let's take an example. Here's a good example. Let us consider another system, the urinary one. We have a patient with repeated urinary tract infections, and eventually he develops interstitial cystitis, painful bladder syndrome, or permanent kidney damage. When you investigate the case history of each of these patients, you will see a similar process. The body initially tries to keep the infection and the peripheral and more to a more peripheral and more superficial level, and therefore less dangerous to the whole body. By interfering with strong chemical drugs, we do not allow the disturbance to stay on this peripheral level, causing a compromised immune system and forcing the infection to proceed to a deeper level until it reaches and infects the deepest part of the system, which in this example are the kidneys. So you're going to have permanent kidney damage if you follow the standard medical advice and take antibiotics for your bladder infection. All these instances are similar in a particular respect. At the beginning, the body tries in all cases to keep the disturbance at a level which is not deep, is peripheral, and therefore easily managed. The question is whether we understand this principle and try to keep the disturbance on a peripheral level. Antibiotics are frequently prescribed to prevent urinary infections, not because of any manifestation of symptoms, but simply because urine cultures are positive for certain types of bacteria. There is no inquiry on the part of the doctor as to why the body needs those colonies of bacteria, but as a rule, a strong antibiotic is prescribed. So it's a complete misunderstanding. Modern medicine treats acute infections as a type of almost like a degenerative condition, and will do anything to halt the process of acute infections. And while the truth is completely the opposite, acute infections will usually resolve on their own and they're not life-threatening. And even if you can't heal them, like you don't know about homeopathy, you don't know about any of the alternative treatment modalities, you're better off, just waiting for it to disappear than giving antibiotics or anti-inflammation medicine, because the body needs the inflammation on that part of the body, and when it doesn't need it anymore to regain balance, it will stop those symptoms. So you're just better off, even better off, just waiting for it to disappear. Diseases as a result of a chain of events, for instance, if someone gets rheumatoid arthritis or any other chronic degenerative disease, and according to conventional medical thinking, this is an accidental event. Right, so we all know this. According to modern medicine, everything is an accident. Any kind of disease you get is an accidental event. Of course, in alternative medicine and especially in homeopathy, we don't consider anything to be accidental. The body is a super intelligent, conscious machine which will handle all kinds of stresses to the best of its ability. But the question is this an accidental event, or is this the result of a precise, almost mathematical course of pathology events? Yes. All right, so the answer is yes. Because of the heavy treatment administered at the time of acute infection, the body was not allowed to perform all the necessary biochemical processes that could restore the lost homeostasis. Right, so what we're talking about here is that the acute infection actually serves to regenerate the body. This might sound very strange, but it does actually contribute to biochemical homeostasis, which is, of course, something like this could be one of the would be an excellent research topic if anybody in the modern medical circles was willing to consider any of this information, which they are not, of course. So basically, that's all. How do chronic diseases form? By suppressing acute diseases. If you would like to do a homeopathic consultation with me, you can get in touch using the link in my channel description. And thank you for listening.